Hello, welcome to the Winning Balance podcast. Today we are joined with one of my good buddies, Jaden Connor.
Happy to be here.
Thanks for coming on, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. Jaden and I could talk for 4 hours straight and not even know what happened.
We already got a podcast in before this podcast.
I know.
We weren't recording though, so sorry guys.
I love it, dude. Yeah, we should have been rolling, but so Jaden, a little bit about Jaden and I's relationship. You were one of the first people that I chatted with when I moved to Utah.
Yeah,
One of the very first.
was it?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Where did we go again? Was it Cubby's?
No, right by Shield's
I can't remember.
pizza sandwich shop. What's it called?
I can't remember.
Whatever.
We'll throw it in the cliff notes if we remember.
Yeah.
But no, Jaden's always been a go-giver, super ethical, crushing it in real estate from ever since I knew you. Kind of fast forwarding, we've chatted about our own businesses for the last 3 years. We partnered on Beehive Investment Community there for a little bit. Jaden gets busier and busier, and he lives up north, so
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
yeah, it didn't make sense. And
It was fun while it lasted. That was awesome.
It was fun, dude. But obviously we're still close buddies, and it's fun chatting with people like Jaden because I feel like we both are upgrading super fast, and every time we chat, it's like we're on a whole nother level that we were chatting like a month prior.
Yeah.
It's like we're chasing each other in a way in a healthy.
Yeah.
So it's been super fun. But I'd love just to chat with you, Jaden, about your journey from when it started to where we are today. And just a tidbit for you guys, for the listeners. Jaden's fix and flip, realtor work, wholesale, a lot of off market, direct to seller, and you've killed it in that for several years. But one thing that I loved about Jaden is ethics in this industry is rare to come by, and
Especially in the wholesaling world.
so true. Yeah, I feel like ethics is a huge one where I have enjoyed our conversations, and also I feel like you run a lean operation, and in this industry, I think that's massive. So I'd love to chat more about that and what that operation looks like. And you're just a go-getter. So Jaden teaches me a ton. I try and push Jaden to do some things too. I think we help each other. But
Yeah.
let's dive into it, brother. Tell me the very beginning, where you got started with real estate, and we can start from there.
Yeah, so let's see. I am from Logan, so I went to Utah State University and graduated in the spring of 2020, kind of right when COVID was coming down hard. But I knew I got licensed way back in 2017, 2018, but I knew I didn't want to be like a real estate agent and just drive around buyers all day long stuff. I was always more intrigued on the investment side. So while I was going to Utah State, I did door-to-door sales. So I did 3 summers of that, and my last summer selling, I was knocking doors in Atlanta, selling pest control. And one of the kids that was selling there used to work for a big wholesaler in Utah. I didn't even know what wholesaling was at the time. And so when I got back, it was my last semester up at Utah State. So this would have been summer of 2019 and fall of 2019. So I went and took this guy out to lunch, again, big wholesaler. And my last semester up at Utah State, I had a really light load schedule-wise. And so I ended up hitting him up after lunch that fall and was like, hey, would love to come work for you for free and just kind of learn the game, because he was doing tons of flipping and wholesaling. And so started that December of 2019, January of 2020 is kind of when I started doing that, and ended up working there for 5 years. And he created a full-time role for me after I graduated from Utah State. and just kind of helped build out like their dispo, so like dispositions, helping selling their off-market properties to investors here in Utah. And they were doing anywhere from 100 to 150 deals a year. And so being able to get like intimately involved on 100 to 150 transactions every year for 5 years was awesome. It was great for me to like surround myself around that and kind of learn the game and make connections. And so did that for 5 years, and then I quit a couple years ago. This May will be my 2 year mark, and just haven't looked back. So now, yeah, like you said, just doing a lot of flipping, a lot of wholesaling. I'm a real estate agent, so help people buy and sell, but the majority of my business is like on the investment side.
I remember that time, dude, when you were talking about leaving, and I was just rooting for you. I was like, "Do it,
And I was
Jaden,
scared.
do it!"
Yeah.
And dude, I know exactly that feeling because I've done it twice now. The first time I tried doing complete wholesale operation, fell flat on my face, and so the second time I felt like it was even harder because
Yeah.
I had that PTSD.
Yeah.
But I luckily when I was talking to you, I was on the other side of like um the good part of my career. So it is easier to convince you. But you had a lot more experience and know-how in the industry than I did the first time. But how was Pest? Like, do you feel like you were doing well? How much did you make in your last summer?
Nothing crazy. These guys that are doing door to door now are making insane money.
It's
So like
wild.
so I did direct TV for 2 summers, and then my last summer I did pest control. I love pest. It's like such a quick sell. It's on the doorstep. So I'm a huge advocate for door to door because, dude, it's a grind. It is hard work, and you're getting rejected all day long.
Yeah.
But you just got to push through. It's such a mind game, and it's hard work. But like to get out and to be able to knock on someone's door and 15 to 20 minutes later sign them up for a product they didn't even know they wanted or needed is pretty satisfying. And the skill set that you learn doing that can translate pretty well. I mean, sales is everything, right? So super grateful that I did that. But so my first summer I made 20K, which was life-changing money for
Yeah,
me at the
for
time.
sure.
Like I didn't work the rest of the year. I went to school up at Utah State, bought a new car. Like it floated me forever. Like
That's
it
amazing.
went a long way. And then like I doubled that the next year. And then like tripled that the third year.
So you're
But
six figures on your
for me,
last one.
it was just a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Like I knew I didn't want to do that full time. I knew I wanted to get into real estate, and so I only did it the years that I was paying for school because I didn't like my parents weren't paying for my. It was up to me to figure it out, and I just had to go figure it out. So
Dude, that's amazing. And I think like I commend you for that because most people say it's a stepping stone, like door to door.
then they get locked in forever.
They get locked in, dude.
But hey, some of them crush it. So
it's so true. I mean, you've had a lot of them as clients. I've had a lot of them as clients, and they're making crazy, crazy good money. And I completely agree on the skill set that we had a kid who's on our team now, Jackson. I don't know if
yeah,
you've met
he's
him.
killing it.
Dude, he netted 200K his first summer of Pest. And now he's like, he'll do 50 deals his first full year in
It's
real estate.
insane.
Is just, yeah, I have never done 50 deals. I don't know if I ever want to do 50
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
He's just a volume guy, dude. But it's been super, super cool seeing him translate from that. But Jaden, talk to me more about your family dynamic. I mean, that's something, I mean, even before getting married, before your current family now, tell me about what life was like growing up and how
Yeah.
that's shaped you into who you are now.
Yeah. So, my family was very middle class, amazing family. I'm the youngest of five, and yeah, like I feel like I had such a unique upbringing because very middle class, like kind of paycheck to paycheck. My family was, but like I'm so grateful for that because like I've been working since I was young. Like my dad started a lawn mowing company for us, like kind of as a I mean, he worked a full-time job and then he started a lawn mowing company. So I grew up mowing lawns. Grew up like at one point I was a janitor for my high school, like in middle school. The high school that I was going to, I'd go every day, Monday through Friday after middle school and go clean one floor of Logan High School with me, my mom, my dad, and my sister.
Really?
And like my parents didn't need to do this. I think they would have been fine, but like they wanted to instill hard work into us. Plus, like the extra income was good for them too. And so, learned just hard work at a young age. And I worked for like a fireworks company, launching like private large fireworks shows. And it was hard work, not like sitting at a fireworks stand, not that like, so yeah, between those 3 jobs growing up, and just seeing my dad, like my dad's just a workhorse. You know, that generation where they can't sit down and relax. I'm like the exact opposite. I love like just being
Same.
lazy and sitting down and relaxing, but that is not my dad. Um, so anyway, but the thing that was unique about my upbringing was I had so many wealthy friends. Like I have a lot of my like surgeons, like their dads were surgeons or very wealthy business owners, like a lot of companies coming from Cache Valley. It's just insane amount of money. And so
I didn't know that.
yeah, I got
Cache Valley.
to experience like front row at the Jazz games, and I got to experience going over to my friends' houses that were really big and nice, and traveling and flying on, like literally I've flown on private jets with friends and
Really?
things like that. Yeah, so like my high school, when I was in high school, like a girl's choice dance, her dad owns a private jet, so we fly to Vegas on a private jet for the day date. Like it was just such a unique upbringing where like you marry the hard work with like seeing something better, like not living paycheck to paycheck. And
Yeah.
so it instilled this desire in me to like, there's a better way. Like um, I never wanted to be the guy that was living paycheck to paycheck because I saw the stress that
Yeah.
put on my mom and dad. And so I just never wanted to do that. And so anyway, just kind of forced me and challenged me to like think bigger and do bigger. But yeah, life was great. And then so I told you I graduated from Utah State in the spring of 2020. My mom had been battling cancer for like 3.5 years. And then she ended up passing away in September of 2020. And so I had just moved from Logan to Salt Lake City, and I was trying to figure, like, I had just started working for this investment company. So like, I was still single at the time. I was the youngest in my family. All of my other siblings were married and had kids and stuff. They were all still in Logan. So I experienced like a lot of freaking change. I was 25. I had just turned 25. And yeah, that was rough. Like seeing, obviously completely your mom is like the staple of the family, and so it just completely threw my world for a loop. I had never really experienced someone that close to me passing away. You always kind of think like it happens to other people, but unfortunately, but like that's also kind of challenged me to focus on the things that actually matter, right? And not take things for granted, and it really puts things into perspective. Yeah, I love thinking about things that really put things into perspective. There's a lot more to life than just business and money.
So true.
So I've had to learn that kind of the hard way. So
Dude, I mean, for anyone, that's just what I envision the scariest thing that could happen. My mom had stage 4 breast cancer.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she did. And she like luckily survived and is still alive.
That's
and
awesome, man.
and thriving. But we have BRCA2 gene in our family, which is just some cancer gene. So I played those scenarios in my head over and over for a few years, like when I was in middle school, and I just can't fathom that you like went through that, especially with like the change of graduating, starting a new gig. But I mean, the memory of your mom obviously lives on.
Right.
And I'd love to hear how that's like your mom's legacy and what you went through with your mom, how that changes how you show up. Because as a recent dad, which we're kind of fast forwarding now.
Yeah. So had a baby boy in December, so he's like 3 months old. And dude, it's literally the best thing ever. Sucks that like my mom can't be here, so like it sucks, right? But yeah, so to answer your question on like how it changes how I show up, like it really changes everything. And it's an ongoing battle, right? Like every day is a new challenge, and like it's easy to get back going through the motions and stuff. But For me, it's mostly been like a perspective thing. Like I can't remember the saying. It's like memento mori or whatever. It's like thinking about death every day. I
Oh,
not in like a negative or depressing way. I'm not like a depressed person, but I think about death a lot, and I feel like uh it's a good thing because it motivates me. Like it could be like imagine imagine again, this is another one of those perspective things. Like imagine everyone walking around and they had like either on their shirt or like a tattoo or something where it's like a date of like when they're gonna die. It would probably just completely change the way you treat people, right? And it could be today, could be tomorrow, could be next year. I don't know when my time's gonna come, and I hope it's not till like forever away, right? But the reality is like it could be anytime.
mm,
And so I think we live in like this hustle and this grind culture, and don't get me wrong, I love it. I respect it,
yeah,
and I do hustle and grind a lot, but you need to make sure you compensate that for like the things that actually matter in life, like family,
yeah,
and faith, and making time for those things. And again, it's always a challenge it's a balancing act. But that's probably the biggest change for me, is just like having gone through that. It really was like a wake up call for me. Like, holy crap. Like my mom was 54 years old when she passed away. She wasn't 70 or 80 or 90. She was 54. Way too young, way too young, and tons of grandkids and stuff. So it's just super sad. And then geez, not to like get all like depressing and everything, but now my dad is now remarried. He just turned 60, and he just got diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And so now he's starting to forget things. And so seeing him go through that, like, again, it's just a wake up call. Like, holy cow, like our days are numbered and we don't know when it's going to come. Um, but again, I think it's a healthy thing. Like I'm not scared of death. Like, yeah, that would suck, but I do have faith in a higher power, and I
yeah,
believe that, there's an afterlife. So like that doesn't necessarily scare me, but I don't want to leave like my wife and my kids. But if I do, like I want to show up every day and be the best version of myself, for them. So to answer your question, I think that's just kind of how it changed my perspective is, um, yeah, just really trying to focus on the things that actually matter in
yeah.
life.
That's amazing, dude. I appreciate you sharing that. And we had a little training this morning for our little team, and it was about time management, blah blah blah. But fast forward, something that I put into practice that I am super super passionate about is my calendar, and I color code it. I'm kind of OCD and type A with it, but I color code, is this activity like strengthen my mental fortitude? Okay, that's yellow. That's spending time with my family, meditating, praying, stretching. Or stretching would probably be my green color code, which is my physical. And I have all these different measures in what I'm color coding in my day. And then I have like my appointments, which are red, and blue, which are tasks. And it's been really cool for me to see if I want to be intentional about being a good dad, being a good husband, being a good friend, be like all these different areas of life that I want to excel in besides making money. I have to see that color everywhere on my calendar. And if it's just blue and red
Yeah,
with appointments and
you're too
tasks,
heavy on one area. That's awesome.
exactly.
I love that.
And there's seasons of that, right? It's not like you can ever be
Right.
perfect. And that's
Right.
one thing I've learned with my podcast is I called it the winning balance, even though I knew it's never going to be perfect in the entrepreneur space. But
Right.
um,
No, I love that. I think you mentioned it. I think it's just another thing that's helped me do is like be more intentional, right? Like it's so
yeah,
easy to get caught up in life and to go through the motions and to float through the river of life and let the current take you wherever it may. But it takes work and effort every day to be intentional and to kind of fight against like that natural current. But if you can be intentional, I mean, that's what it's all
yeah,
about. And actually take a step back and think about, um, are these things serving you? Am I too heavy in one category or the other? And again, there's seasons, like there's no right or wrong answer, but at least just taking the time to like think about it and try your best to maximize it the way and create your life by design and create it the way you'd want it to be.
For sure. Dude, it's in today's day and age, like there's so much pulling at your attention, like social media, especially Utah, the comparison of just like I wish more people could just like sit and breathe for 15 minutes. I've been meditating now for a few years, and whether it's prayer, whether it's meditating, stretch, just something to calm your brain, I think in today's day and age is becoming more and more important with how much is pulling at our attention. But
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
one thing I wanted to bring up, Jaden, I feel like we kind of fast forward from you leaving the big wholesale company to where you are today, which you're killing it, like absolutely killing it, having an immense amount of success. It's been fun to see. I knew you would. That's why there's some people I say, hold on to your job. And there's others I'm telling, get your butt out the door. Yeah. And I knew you'd be one of those people, dude.
I appreciate that.
Of course, dude. So I had no doubts you were going to kill it, and you are. But I want to talk about that phase in between. We skipped over Annie, who's obviously one of the most important pieces in your world, your wife. Tell us about how you met Annie, and then you were married to Annie on this transition of the wholesale company to working for yourself, right?
Right.
So let's hear how you met Annie, how that came about. And then I'd love to hear, kind of be a fly on the wall for those conversations of you moving from steady, doing extremely well, to now talking about leaving and uncertainty. I'd love to dive into that.
Yeah, so Annie and we met up at Utah State University, and we got married in October of 2023. And then I think I quit working for that investment company in May of 2024. So, I mean, we weren't even married a year at that point. So but we dated for a while. So Annie knew the whole situation. But my wife is amazing. She's been so supportive. Like, honestly, the conversations weren't super dramatic or difficult. Like, I was definitely nervous, kind of like the golden handcuffs, right? Like making good money, and I was scared, and maybe it was just like a lack of confidence in myself to go crush it. But you obviously can't see into the future, so it's like hard to know like if it was going to be worth it or not. But yeah, one day I just had the conversation with her. I was like, look, I think it's time like for me to go out on my own. But to your point, like the transition was very smooth. One thing that I respect about you is like, dude, you came from a completely different market into a new market, and you just slayed. Like, you just crushed it from day one. I didn't have to do that. Like, I wasn't going to a new market, having to relearn the numbers in a new market. And because relationships are everything. That's a lot of my business is from like relationships and networking. So having been in the same market and the space for 5 years, it was such an easy transition for me. Like, there was no skip. Like, it just went from doing it for someone else to doing it for myself, which was better. So luckily, it was an easy transition. I was super fortunate that way. But yeah, Annie's amazing. She's always been like super supportive and just kind of lets me and trusts me and lets me do my thing. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a superpower. Having a wife that's just ride or die.
Right. Yeah. You hear stories. Yeah. Like, yeah, the wife's doubting, and luckily I've never once felt that, which has definitely been a blessing.
I love it. Talk to me about the operational side of going from not having to deal with back end numbers, marketing costs, spend, expenses, to taking that over entirely yourself, because obviously a higher ceiling, but much, much lower floor too, right? When you're
Right.
in charge of your own expenses and such.
Yeah. So I do operate a very lean business. So I'm gradually spending more and more money in marketing every month, for like direct to seller marketing for flips and wholesaling. But from the get go, like that first 6 to 12 months, I wasn't spending any money in marketing. Like it was all sphere of influence and all like relationship based. So it wasn't like super complex. Obviously, like it was up to me to just kind of generate the business and everything. But now, yeah, to a point where I am spending money on marketing, but again, it is very lean. Like we're only spending 10 to 15,000. We're probably going to ramp it up to maybe 20,000 a month in marketing and a lot of these big wholesale companies. So, the company that I worked for was not very lean and mean. They were very large and a lot of overhead. And so I think coming from that company, I didn't want to operate a business that had all that overhead. I mean, there's guys spending, 30 to 60K a month in marketing, but then above and beyond that, they have like 20 to 30 different employees and salaries, and that kind of stresses me out. I also don't really feel like it's necessary.
Yeah.
Like I can do 1 to 1.5 million with one person on my team,
For sure.
you know? And so if I can be in that $1 to $2 million range every year and just have one or two people on my team and we're just nitty and gritty and lean and mean and just like you've been trying to get me to hire an assistant forever, and I'm probably long overdue. I'm finally hiring an assistant.
Let's
thanks
go.
to people like you pushing me. So if anyone listening to this knows of someone that might be a good fit, would love to hop on a call with them. But yeah, I can't remember where I was at, but I don't think that you need a big team to do a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
I think you can stay lean and mean.
No, I love that. And I think that's for me. Guys, also on Jaden's note, if you literally know anyone that would be a good role for executive assistant, this is one of the best people you could work for. And I'm not just saying that.
Thanks, man.
No, I mean it too. So, but I think the cool part about entrepreneurship, running your own ship, I say entrepreneurship with less emphasis these days. I feel like our line of work is some blend of entrepreneurship. I feel like it's almost a disservice to people that are doing some things as entrepreneurs that I'm like, I'm not really that guy.
Like starting up a whole new business idea. Like real estate's
exactly,
proven.
Exactly.
And like it's just kind of plug and play, and the map is there.
Exactly.
For the most part. But yeah,
No,
entrepreneur, like starting a startup it's a completely different world. It's similar in the sense that we eat what we kill.
For sure.
But other than that, yeah.
No, yeah, dude. The more I've talked to more entrepreneurs like on this podcast, I'm like, they're talking about entrepreneurship, and I'm like, mine's not the same as yours. I maybe am run my own business and very heavily involved in that, but yeah, running a product that has no like proven model in a market and just throwing all your eggs in that basket, all your time, capital spend. Yeah, that's a
different world.
Yeah. And I think me and you are similar. I want to run lean. I got burned. I say 6 or 7 grand. Like that was, to me at that time, was a lot of money.
Yeah.
When I was like still newer in the whole, like the real estate scene. But where I'm at now, I'm spending more than that, but not, it doesn't feel like overhead. It feels like necessities and help, mostly like my assistant, right? But I think the beauty of operations like ours is you get a track record. I was making multiple 6 figures for at least 2 years before I even thought about an assistant. And the model was proven to me that I knew that I could provide for my family and pay for an assistant and not stress.
Right.
For infinity and beyond. At least that's where my confidence led to me. Like, God forbid the market does a 2008, but
right.
with all things said, like if I wanted to grow, that felt like the next step for me. So that was an easy decision, and it's proven to be true now, having an assistant for a couple years. But beyond that, it's my expenses are backed with lots and lots of data and history of where they've proven to be like wins, right? The only marketing that I spend now is on social media.
Mm.
And I've gotten lots and lots and lots of deals from social media before I ever thought about investing into an agency, which is where we're at now, right? With the podcast. And I spend a good amount on this agency to offset or offload a lot of my work. So
Right.
that's been the fun part about running your own ship, like you've been explaining. But
Right.
I'd love to hear some of your favorite deals from the last 2 years since you've been on your own.
Yeah. There's been a lot that would be fun to chat about. One that comes top of mind. So I have an office building on Main Street in Bountiful that we own, and we bought it off market. We bought it on seller finance. The seller owned it free and clear. The husband had passed away, and so the wife inherited it and was ready to offload it, but it needed a lot of work. And so we came in, and we knew we had been looking, me and a partner of mine, we had been looking to get an office space, and we wanted to be on Main Street in Bountiful. And then this kind of fell into our laps. But we ended up negotiating like a 13-month balloon. So not long, but it was enough time. That balloon ends in like June of this year. So we're still in the middle of refinancing that one. But we bought it, did a full reno on it. We put our 2 office spaces in the back, and then we rent out the front space. And for 13 months we had no payments. So the rehab only took like 8 weeks. So we dumped like 60 grand into the renovation. We did a 1031 exchange from a townhome
That you and your partner own?
Yeah.
Really?
So like a little less, maybe about a year prior to that, we bought this townhome on seller finance in Ogden, and we were able to 1031 sell that. We actually sold that to our tenant that was living there at the time. So like no commissions or
Yeah.
anything, just off market. And then we 1031 it, timed out perfectly into this commercial building. Did the reno. Now we have 2 offices, and then we rent out the front space to like an event planning company. And so they pay. I mean, we don't have a mortgage right now, but when we do refinance a new commercial loan, their payment will cover the mortgage. So we'll have
Really?
an office space for free. Plus, we have a bunch of equity in the building because we got a good deal on it. So that was a super fun one. Love it. Obviously, having an office space is sweet. And then both my business partner and I, we both live in Bountiful too. So it's like 5 minutes from my house, which is nice. And then we're in the middle of negotiating another deal right now, just a couple doors down from our office space. So fingers crossed, hopefully we get that commercial building as well. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like what a townhome, like you buy Little Dill. We only put we bought that on seller finance too for like 33K down or something. But it's just crazy what like a small down payment can turn into. You just go bigger and better, right?
That's wild. Tell me more about the numbers, like purchase price, where you think value is today. I mean, I talked to you a little bit about this, but I'm like so hyped on commercial these days. And
when you say commercial, you'd like small or big multifamily.
yeah,
or
20 units, like 20 to 70 units is kind of our like syndicate model that we're exploring right now. And then I really like small retail and warehouse. So me and a buddy of mine that we're trying to run this with, he's a multifamily broker in Salt Lake, or an agent, I should say. Absolute stud. And so we've been kind of putting our heads together on that. We've been like really good buddies from the mission, so we've been
sweet
scheming on it for some time. But we're between warehousing and retail is our one of our asset classes, and then we're pretty set on multifamily.
Yeah.
So.
I'm with you, man. Like I owned I've only owned 2 commercial buildings. Right now I only own one. I had another one in Ogden. That was my very first commercial building ever. And I kind of fell in love as well because you can do triple net lease,
Yeah.
and like they're responsible for all the cams, like common area maintenance fees and stuff, and a little bit less headache almost than like residential. Don't get me wrong, I love like my residential properties as well. But so yeah, numbers on that one. We bought it for $350. We only put $45,000 down. So we owe $305. But again, it was no payments and 0% interest for 13 months. So
That allowed you to stabilize it.
exactly. We
Yeah.
did the reno, and then 8 weeks later, we rented it out for basically a year, probably like 11 months, and we're collecting $26.50 a month from the front end.
Which is just,
so we were able to recoup some of the rehab expenses.
and you put $60K into it.
Yeah, we put $60K
So
into it,
you're
but
like-
that was the 1031 exchange. So really, like, we bought the townhome for $33K down, but we sold that for like 100. We had like 100K that we were 1031ing.
Jeez.
So it was the equity in the townhome that funded it.
So you're all in for 405 pretty much.
Yeah.
On this.
Yeah. Yep. All in. Probably. I mean, 410. We're probably
Okay,
all in
410.
410. It's probably worth. It's
But
hard.
the tenants paid for
all of it. Yeah.
like a lot of the rent.
well, not all of it, but
a good chunk of
yeah,
it.
we recouped some of it. It was really the townhome that really paid for it. But and then it's hard to know what it's worth. I'll know more here in a month or two, and we're
They have to do an appraisal when
finalizing
you.
the refi.
Yeah.
But if you, I mean, we also pay like $1,000 a month, 500 each for our offices. So it's really bringing in like $36.50 a month.
That's just to like, yours essentially free, but you're paying into the business that much. So
Exactly.
the NOI, if you ever did sell, you're collecting. So the NOI is going to look good.
Yeah, and we don't have many expenses. So like if you take the gross, let's take out like 15% expenses. I don't know what cap rates are, but like if you divide, I mean, that's how you value these commercial
Yeah, exactly.
buildings, right? Is the cap rate. So like if you take the NOI and divide that by, let's call it like, hopefully like a 7 cap is like conservative. That values it at like 532.
And that's super conservative.
And we're all in at like 410. So hopefully we have like 100 to 150K minimum conservatively of equity in that building.
with no money out of, like, no new money at
Yeah,
least.
no new money.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, dude.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Hopefully we can do a similar thing on this next one, but so yeah, that was a fun one. And then yeah, I mean, there's happy to get into any of these. Like I own a fourplex. That was a fun one. Or we could talk about any of the flips.
So let's talk about the fourplex, because I do a lot of small multifamily, and let's talk about that. What are the numbers? How'd you find it?
Yeah, so that one was off market through our marketing channel, just like an inbound online lead that we got, and we
PPC?
It was PPL.
PPL?
Yeah, but
So pay per lead versus pay per click for the.
Yeah.
And what's the difference? Like, what are they filling out just for the audience? I mean, I don't even know. So for myself too, like, what is pay per click? Is they click on your ad and fill out a form. So it's probably cheaper than PPL, right? Pay
Dude,
per lead.
PPC is actually more expensive.
Oh,
than
really?
PPL. Yeah, but they're typically higher quality leads. So like the idea is, and most people are like outsourcing like their PPC campaigns to like agencies.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And so they'll build a website for you. They'll handle all like the SEO and the PPC type stuff. So I don't know like how it works behind the scenes, but on average, you're probably, I mean, it varies depending on the agency, but like I think a good rule of thumb is for PPC, you're probably paying $800 to $900 per lead on average. With PPL, it's a little bit different. They do like, think of it like this. So like with PPL, it's more of interrupted marketing. So like a Facebook ad or a YouTube ad, or like someone scrolling on their phone and you interrupt them.
I see.
And then they fill it out, and then they sell that information. We buy it.
I see.
So, but PPC is intention-based marketing.
They
They're seeking you out. They say, sell my home fast, click on the top 3 and fill it out. So they're seeking you out versus you interrupting them and then filling it out. So the idea is PPC is a little bit higher quality. It's also more expensive. PPL is not. But with PPL, like, you don't know where, like, we're paying this agency for leads, but like, we don't know, they have so many different ways that they get these leads. I don't know if they're cold calling them. I don't know if they're it's a YouTube ad. Like there's a number of ways that they're getting these leads. And so some months the quality is better than others. But anyway, you're anywhere from $200 to $400 a lead in PPL.
That's amazing.
So anyway, this was a PPL lead, and the guy was living in one of the units. So it was an owner occupied fourplex, and he just wanted to get a little bit of money and cash out a little bit. So we bought it for $550. And
where is it at?
It's in Rose Park. Yeah, so pretty good location. They're small units, 1 bed, 1 bath units. And so bought it for $550. I mean, it needed a lot of work. Like the units are a little bit run down. And we put $50K down. And then it was kind of like a sub two. We just took over his payments. So he had like a 7.125% rate, which seems high, but the loan balance was like 116 or 120. So you're 7% on the 120. And then we took over the payments, so we did a 5-year balloon. But again, like if you're valuing that property based off of a cap rate, because it was super under rented, like we probably overpaid. We definitely overpaid for that building. But in exchange for the seller finance, like it worked.
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
he got the $50K, and then he's got a 5-year balloon, so he'll cash out in 5 years.
That's amazing.
And then we were able to come in, do some rehab, increase the rents, and we're kind of, it's like just now getting stabilized. Oh, the other unique thing on that deal was we let the seller live in his unit for free for a year as part of the deal.
I love that. Yeah, this is the fun part about these creative deals is you can literally just make up your own stuff. It's so
exactly
nice.
And he loved that. Like he loved the idea of living for free. So once he gets out, we'll rehab his unit, and then we'll be able to rent that unit out too.
And what do you think it'll be worth at the end of the day? I'm also curious because I have a similar deal. It's South Salt Lake, 1 bed, 1 bath. But pretty clean. But what do you think yours is gonna be worth?
Man, that's hard. With a lot in rehab, probably. I don't know. I mean, I'm so conservative, but hopefully like 650 to 700.
Yeah.
But that's again kind of sprucing up the units and making them nice. But in 5 years, like we're getting principal pay down. We got the tax benefit. We have 5 years to let it appreciate. We're gonna cash flow along the way. So I don't really care so much about the value today.
Exactly.
I mean, I do. Like obviously my net worth, adding to my net worth is great. But yeah, it'll be a good 5-year play.
No, I love it. And when you're getting a tax play on that basis, when you're only putting 10% down. Or less than 10% down, right? You bought for $550 and put $50K down.
Yeah, a little less than 10. I mean, we already did the cost seg study on it, so we got like a little over $100K. I can't remember how much. I want to say it might have been like 120 to 130 in depreciation on that. So
yeah, people don't realize that cost segs are based on value. It has nothing to do with down payment.
Yeah.
So if on a traditional investment property you put 25% down, if you're putting 10% down or less, that doubles your tax value. So it's, I love it, dude. Well, the next question I have for you, I feel like, as go-getters, you have your baby and everything changes. At least when the moment that I held Gigi for the first time in the hospital, it literally felt like there was like this force field around me, my wife, and my baby of just like, this is my whole world. Your whole world just changes. It's weird. It's like this level of biology, chemistry that you can't explain unless you've had your own baby. But talk to me about how that changed for you with like your day to day. And I know you talked about your mom and the influence that had as you being a dad, which was powerful. But talk to me about how life changed when you brought your baby.
Dude, I'm like over here getting the chills like as you're explaining it because I've experienced it.
Yeah.
If you would have told me that like a little, you hear it all the time, but until you experience it, you just don't. You'll just never understand.
Yeah.
Right. So for those of you that are thinking about having kids or getting ready to have kids, hopefully you guys get that opportunity. And I know people struggle too, like Annie had a miscarriage before we had
I remember
Banks.
that.
And
Yeah.
so, and I know a lot of people struggle, so it's tough, right? It's not an easy conversation either, but how it changed for us, dude, it changes everything. Like, yeah, I love, his name's Banks. I love Banks. It's hard to leave. Like,
Yeah. I feel you.
don't get me wrong, I love my wife. It's hard to leave my wife too, like before we had kids, but it's just getting harder and harder. But it's also like very motivating, and like I just want to go crush it and like provide for my family and provide a good experience. Like we talked about, you building your personal residence, and so like stretching to like provide, again, like I talked earlier about living paycheck to paycheck. Like I want to provide this awesome experience for him, and I'm so excited to, he's so little, like he's just finally starting to like smile and giggle, so I'm excited to like see his personality and stuff. But hard to leave, but amazing to come home. Like I'm so hyped. I try to get like, dude, I want to get home early every day. Dude, it's just the best. It really is the best. I really think like that's what life is all about, is just like having a family and providing the opportunity for them to come here and like experience mortality, and for me to like be his dad and like his hero, and to like hopefully teach him how to be kind and nice and a good person. And it just lights me up, dude.
Yeah.
I'm hyped. I'm here for it. I'm so excited, dude. I love it.
Yeah, my mom used to always say, she's like, you'll never know how much I love you until you have a kid of your own. And that, like,
wow, that's awesome.
I never knew what that meant, because I was like, okay, Mom, like,
that's so true, man.
Love you too.
Yeah.
But then you have like your own kid, and it's just like, it changes your definition of love.
For sure.
It doesn't mean you love your wife less, your mom less. You're like, it just is so different.
It's just a different level.
Yeah.
It really is hard to explain, but
it's
awesome.
I've had some buddies explain it. I've never inherited love to this degree. Like, you build love with your wife, and it gets better and better, and you work on it, and it's an active approach. But I've never like inherited love to this level.
Dude, that is a good way to put it.
It just is like passed on to you, and you're time to bring this home, like this baby home, that you're like just driving. I remember just putting her in a car seat, Gigi, and like, I have to drive so careful.
100%. First time out of the hospital. First of all, hooking them up in the car seat. It's like, am I like tightening it too tight? Like I want them to be able to breathe. Like every little, just it literally does change everything. But the inherited thing is money. Yeah. Because the majority of all your other relationships, it's like a love that grows over time. But with this experience with Banks, it was like there was no growing to be had. It's automatic and instant at an insane level. Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Dude. Well, dude, I like, last question I have for you, Jaden. I look up to you as a human. Like I look up to what you're doing with your life in general. That's why I have you on this podcast, is because I respect what you've built. I respect how you carry yourself as a human. And I've appreciated our friendship more than you know. But like I'd love to hear your advice to the audience just on, this is something I ask all my guests. We are in a unique place in Utah where we really value building business. We really value providing for our family financially, but we also really want to be this rock for our family and be present and be like there for them in more ways than financially, right? And I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but I'd love to hear your advice just on how you can show up in both avenues of family and business.
Yeah, that's a tough one. For me personally, again, like I kind of already hit on this, but I would say, number one, don't get caught up in the things that don't matter. It's really easy to do that. It's okay to go through seasons. And again, I respect and love the hustle and the grind, and you gotta have that. But with that being said, like, try to put things into perspective and try to do things that kind of anchor you. And it probably looks a little bit different for everyone, right? Like, I love like you mentioned like the meditating and the prayer thing. Like I love that. I think that's super important. But yeah, like for me, it's just like considering and thinking about, as sad and depressing as this is like death. Like contemplate it and think about it, and have a relationship with it. Like as weird as that is, like it can be sad and depressing, but like I want to treat Annie and Banks every day. And it's hard, it's easier said than done, but I want to treat them every day as if it's like my last day.
Mm.
And like, dude, I'm going to get emotional like thinking about it, right? Because you don't know if it is or not. and but I think if you go about it with that mentality, I think you'll just show up a little bit different for sure. And don't get too caught up in the things that don't matter, because there's really only a few things that matter in life.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, I think it's just keeping that in mind, and hopefully we live all long good lives. But I don't know if you heard about the guy in Utah County that passed away.
I just saw that.
It's so sad, man.
Tate,
Jeff Tate,
Yeah.
yeah. So sad, like beautiful family, and yeah, you really just never know. Super young,
Yeah.
healthy, had a great business. So yeah, that would probably be my advice.
That's powerful, dude. I appreciate you sharing that. I'm getting emotional over here too. I feel like the reason I love that statement so much is because it puts things into perspective, not just how to show up for Annie, how to show up for Banks, but also like in terms of like fights. It's like, how stubborn should I be about this? If I were to
Exactly.
die tomorrow, do I want to like fight about
Yeah.
these little things? That's something that
No, it's a game changer, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I saw like this post on Instagram or something where it's like, this old lady, it goes back and forth between like a young family and then like this old single person, where it's like when she was young and had kids, like she was stressed about the house not being clean or the dishes not being done or whatever. But then it fast forwarded to her being like, her husband had passed away. She's single. And she's like yearning for that, right? Like there will come a time where the things that are stressing us out or whatever, like we're gonna be seeking that out at one point. I'm not really explaining that very well, but you're right. Like it instantly just puts things into perspective. Like the tiny little arguments and stuff, none of that crap even matter. It's so much easier said than done, because in the moment we can get caught up in all this crap. But just try to be a little bit better and think like, man, if this was my last day, you'd probably regret some of the things you said, or you'd probably treat them a little bit kinder, or not worry about this or that.
I love it. Thanks for jumping on, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
Love you, brother.